Hello and welcome to On the Mat with Lydia. That's me. And whatever has brought you to your practice today, you are very welcome here. Today is just a little bonus tutorial through our crow pose. So this will just be some quick and dirty tips to help you really nail your crow pose. Now, always yoga is going to offer these kind of fun pretzel shapes for us to play with, but that does not make your yoga practice any better or more effective, right? We just want to see kind of where we can push our bodies and have a little fun with our practice as well. As always, it's not about the pose, but it's about your presence in the pose. So let's see what crow brings up for you today. Now, I always recommend doing a lot of core work before you go into any of these more quote-unquote advanced yoga postures. Our crow pose being an arm balance, great idea to really warm up your core. So if you haven't done that yet, I can suggest a couple of videos for you here on my channel just to get really warmed up and ready to go. I've been filming for a few hours now, so I'm feeling good and warmed up. My arms are feeling ready as well. So we're gonna get on into the pose and just see how it goes. So we're gonna start off getting our arms in place here. It is an arm balance after all. So if you'd like, you can come just to a kneeling or seated position on your mat and bring yourself forward towards all fours. We're not gonna come all the way into that hands and knees position, but kind of like a shortened hands and knees. Spread your fingers nice and wide apart, claw down through the tips of your fingers. So almost like you're trying to dig down into your mat, like you're digging through sand. Get that clawing action there, and then think about pushing up and away from your mat with your palms. Now start to bend your elbows to point straight back behind you. Feel your chest come forward and your gaze come forward as you do so. Maybe hold for a few beats and then press back up. Try that a few times, bending your elbows to point straight back and then pressing back up. So not only are we warming up the arms, but we're also getting used to the sensation of your chest coming forward and keeping your gaze forward as well. That's going to be super important as we come into our crow pose. So once you've done a few reps, feel free to sit back, roll out your wrists, do what you gotta do. Next up, we're gonna get our legs involved. So we're gonna start in a little toe balance here, tucking your toes, lift your knees off the mat, and start to find your balance here. So a big thing with our crow pose is keeping the feet together. That's gonna help squeeze everything through center, because your knees are gonna have to go wide to meet your arms, right? So we wanna make sure the feet are staying centered. So as you find your toe balance here, start to play with widening your knees, trying to keep your big toes touching as best you can. From there, start to bring your arms forward and lift your booty. So hands are gonna be about shoulder width distance, and your knees are gonna aim for your upper arms. So we're trying to shelve our knees on the upper arms rather than have them on the outside. You can practice having the knees on the outside, squeezing in towards your arms. I just find it makes the foundations of the pose collapse a little bit more easily. It is a bit of a confronting sensation to have your knees press into your upper arms, so totally understandable if you want to try with your knees wide as well. As your hands come forward, your booty lifts, your toes are together. We're going to claw through the fingertips, press through the palms, and then bend the elbows back like chaturanga. As you bend the elbows, your knees can come forward to meet your upper arms as high as you can on your arms. From here, scoop your belly like you're doing a cat pose and start to lean your weight forward towards your fingers. Now remember, your feet stay together as you start to lift your feet. You can do one at a time or both together. Finding your crow pose. Beautiful. So a few things to note as you lift up. You want to make sure that your big toes are staying together as best you can. As I demonstrated, you can lift one foot at a time. Just make sure they meet again at the top. And then think about squeezing your heels towards your bum. Again, we're just looking for lots of activation in the body so that you can stay balanced in this shape. So that's kind of the lower body. The hips are hugging in, the inner thighs are squeezing towards one another as if they're magnetized. Of course, they're not going to touch, your knees are wide, but feeling that activation. So that's the legs sorted. From your core, you're thinking about hugging in and scooping up. So I like to imagine that my tailbone, my hips are really light, almost as if there's someone pulling them up towards the sky. And if I can imagine that lightness in my tailbone, it helps me to lift a little bit easier. Now I know that part of this balancing on the arms is just that scary part of bringing your weight forward. So I find that kind of sensation or idea of lifting up can help to mitigate some of that fear of falling forward. Now, speaking of falling forward, that's where we get into our arms a little bit more. So remember, you're clawing into your fingertips. Your arms are super strong, just like your chaturanga. And we're bringing our weight and our gaze forward. Now, in order to find this balance, you do have to bring your weight forward into your fingertips quite a lot. But again, once we have that balance, we're thinking lifting up instead of forward. A big thing that helps to not fall over and tumble is to keep your gaze looking forward, so beyond your fingertips. If you tuck your chin, that's going to turn your body into a little roly-poly, and there's a higher chance that you're going to roll forward. Now, I always suggest if you do have that fear of falling forward and that's stopping you from flying into the pose, set up a nice little crash pad of blankets and pillows in front of you so that you feel a little bit more supported in taking that flight. So we've got our strong chaturanga arms, we've got our lift of the core like our cat pose, and we've got our legs nice and strong, heels squeezing to the booty. From there, you've got all the pieces you need to fly into your crow. So give it a couple tries, see how you go. This is certainly not a pose that most people get on their first attempt, so please keep the practice up. The stronger your core, the easier it's gonna feel to fly into balances like your crow or into inversions like your headstand. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on the mat.